You exit the subway station. It is a short walk from here, even with the luggage. Only 8 months and then on to the next place. On the ground, a small lobby, nestled within the Dock Square parking garage, a structure that has been here for years. The elevator brings you up towards a house that belongs to multiplicities, a house owned for a time. You move upwards towards your room. Individual multiplicities speaks to a bedroom that reinforces the individual. The bed is in constant dialogue with the confines of the room. Without the room, there is no bedroom. Without the bed, there is no room.
Modern changes in social conditions have driven the development of the private house. Domesticity emerges in the form of carefully planned interiors and the regulation of patterns and bodies. Individuality becomes synonymous to an ethic of purity, industriousness, and political liberation.
The boarding house holds 48 beds, 15 double-story showers, and 3 large kitchens. Its lightweight metal frame carefully rests above the garage, integrating itself within the existing structure and its functions. Capped at both ends by thickened circulatory walls, the bar reads as an abstracted metallic volume. Behind a perforated aluminium mesh, operable windows and scalar differentiations of a continual communal double-height space from the granular sequence of rooms subtly appears. The paradoxical hybridization of a bedroom defined by its enclosure with a space for communal living redefines the temporality of inhabitation. Itinerance as a form of life is taken seriously, and with it, notions of permanence, ownership, and communality acquire new meaning. The individual bedroom's form reinforces the form of the bed, and as such, its significance to a person's sense of individuality. Rigor and restraint produce an all-encompassing room for one. The minimum requirements, a sink, a toilet, and mirrored cupboards for an abundance of storage, define a perimeter with attention to centrality, inwardness, and the sanctity of sleep.
In its function as a sensorial chamber, the bedroom invites the opening and closing of each day. An ictemeral regulator that ensures beginnings and ends, the bedroom marks the other rhythms of life: washing, clothing, eating, leaving, returning. The individual is lost in the fantasy of their sleep, yet return to the collective world upon their awakening. A boarding house for those who move.
Despite, or perhaps because of, its years, the neighborhood retained its identity. Cut, shrunk, yet never dissolved, the North End remained a pointillist nucleus of families old and new. Across the Greenbelt, a room for many awaits. Lifted up off the ground, the building speaks to multiple individualities. An array of bedrooms work together in various configurations to produce a diverse collection of multi-person units supported by a communal spine.
Where do we begin to evaluate the emergence of a society in which individuality is habitual? Where do the internal inconsistencies of separation and arrangement lie? Bedrooms are still rooms of one's own. The place of the body is specific. Picturesque life should once again face the public. Fantasy is no longer a privilege of the few.
Your neighbors to the left have 3 young children. Your neighbors to the right are 2 young professionals. Some neighbors live far away, others are only separated by a curtain. You and your bedroom fall somewhere in between. The CLT row house works through the soft interplay of private and communal. Towards the exterior, a room of one's own. At the center, a room for many. In your room, the tall glazing is slid open. The lightweight blinds are halfway up. Air, light, and the shadows of things travel from your individual interior towards the room for many. The bedroom and living room exchange glances. Cohabitation adjusts to community. Stratified partitions are opened to reveal a view. A soft floor covers your room, allowing for the various forms of life that exist here. A space that is your own, its privacy enabled by the gradual transition from shared to individual. As you reach the top of the stairway, a window seat sits opposite. You lounge in the afternoon light as your neighbor passes by. You read a few pages from a book they left behind. Before going into your bedroom, the specificity of the body becomes a trace, read only through where things are left.
In the shift from monarchic governance to the individual collective, an equivalent spatial separation occurs. Hosting the court from his bedchamber, Louis XIV singularly benefits from a claim to individuality. The bedchamber must thereby confront its communal predecessor, whereby the private bedroom necessitates the emergence of the modern political individual and the correlative isolation of individuals from social collectives. Permanence is found in stability. The scale of the body, rigor and restraints in settings of individuality and collectivity define home in the neighborhood.
A home for those who stay.
Leaving the place of those who rest, you return home along a path. The changing seasons become apparent while you wave to a neighbor sitting at their desk. The seclusion of the individual has found its sidedness. In the park, a row of bedrooms hovers in the landscape. The bedroom is the core, a crafted piece of mechanized furniture which extends its reach outward. Somewhere in between furnishing and apparatus, the home in the park retrieves daily rituals and the slow passage of time.
The bedroom is also the space for healing and recuperation. The individual room contains the idealized parameters for sleep, a single bed, centered and silent. Yet, doesn't individuality always fail as a denouement? Collectivity, the unregulated and unexpected, finds its stability in the unhurried.
A series of rooms, each of which provides for what is essential. Excess comes from the external, along a slab which grows and shrinks, a place for your home to extend outwards, or a path for the mail carrier to move through. Excess comes from the internal, as the details unfold in the rituals of daily use. The core of the bed extends outwards, folds itself into a place for pause, and builds a wall for a few things. An uncanny ephemerality prevails when the boundaries of the bedroom are tucked away at the center, leaving the perimeter to slowly generate a landscape for itself. Between two concrete walls of mechanical infrastructure lies the bed, the functional center of the space. Raised above a solid plinth, the frame adjusts the body of the sleeper, raising and folding itself. Overhead, a lit screen controls the fiction of the environment for sleep.
The home in the park moves slowly, while the bedroom forms itself as the activities of daily life are sedimented. A place of those for whom time moves slow. 3 sites, 3 temporalities of inhabitation, and 3 bedrooms. Upon his return to Ithaca, Odysseus recounts how, through labor and nature, the bed had ground his home. There was a branching olive tree inside our court, grown to its full prime. Around it I built my bedroom, finished off the walls. I had the skill. I shaped it plumb to the line to make the bedpost. Working from there, I built my bed, start to finish.